You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4.
Brady is off this afternoon. Sarah Carlson is filling in. Thanks for your help.
It's great to be here. It's a pleasure.
It's good to have you here. And we begin this Monday with an update on the case against the father of the Abundant Life school shooter.
Jeffrey Ruppnow was in court today, and our Kyle Pozorski is live outside the Dane County Courthouse with what happened. Good afternoon, Kyle.
Good evening. It was a very quick status conference today inside the Dane County Courthouse. Really meant to go over any address changes if Ruppnow had them, as well as to set the date for this upcoming preliminary hearing. We now know that hearing will be taking place on July 24th. We did see Ruppnow make an appearance today, staying very quiet, only speaking when spoken to by his attorney and the judge. Of course, many who are following this case know Ruppnow is the father of the young girl who brought a gun to the Abundant Life Christian School back in December. She killed a student and teacher that day as well. She injured 6 others. The father, Mr. Ruppnow, has been charged with 3 felony counts. 2 of those are for intent to sell a deadly weapon to a minor. The 3rd is for contributing towards his daughter's delinquency. And again, this preliminary hearing now set for July 24th. Today, I did try to speak with Ruppnow as he left the courtroom about if he had anything to say. He did not. We will have more details on that exchange coming up later in our 6 o'clock newscast. But for now, reporting outside the Dane County Courthouse, I'm Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Kyle. And News 3 Now has been following Ruppnow's case since we learned he was facing charges. You can find all of our previous coverage of this story on channel3000.com. And you can also get updates directly to your phone with the free Channel 3000 mobile app.
Let's get a look at the weather now. It's kind of a mixed bag. A little sun, a little clouds, but nice and mild. But things will be warming up from here. Jacob Madison is out on the patio. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Susan. Yeah, right now it's not very June-like, but it's still pretty comfortable. 60s across the board when the average high is supposed to be in the upper 70s, but this is easily going to be the coldest day going forward. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, we are seeing some showers north of Madison. Nothing for Madison and surrounding areas in places to the south, but a few of these passing showers have continuously been impacting the northern portion of our area, and this may continue for a few more hours, but once we get to the overnight hours, we are going to be pretty much completely dry. Maybe an isolated sprinkle here or there, but pretty much bone dry once we get to around 9 to 11 p.m. and continuing through your day on Tuesday. Now, as we take a look at the temperature forecast during this time, this evening will be on the chillier side compared to normal. It's still going to be pretty comfortable. And although we're seeing a lot of cloud cover right now, we are expecting sunny skies over the next couple of hours and then clear skies overnight. And as we take a look at the low temperatures overnight, it will continue to be a little bit below normal with lows dropping into the lower 50s. So a little bit of a chilly morning to start Tuesday, but the afternoon hours will be warmer than today. Upper 70s are expected. And then we're going to continue warming up with a few chances of rainfall for the rest of the week. The details on that coming up a bit later.
All right, thank you so much, Jacob. Like to hear the warming up part. Well, school is wrapping up, and the Dane County Traffic Safety Commission is trying to make the transition into summer safe for pedestrians.
News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us now with more on a 2-week campaign the commission is putting together.
The Dane County Traffic Safety Commission is starting a 2-week campaign for pedestrian safety, something they say has taken a hit the last 5 years. According to the Dane County Traffic Safety Commission, in 2024, the number of crashes involving pedestrians was 138, the highest it's been in 5 years. And that was a 20% increase over the previous 4-year average. And from June 13th through the 27th, Dane County law enforcement will be making a concerted effort to make that trend go in the other direction. Speaking to one of the lieutenants, a part of the Safety Commission, they say now that school is winding down, this is a great time to be more mindful for both the drivers and pedestrians.
Our population continues to grow. It's one of the biggest booming areas in the whole state. So unfortunately, the reality is when you have that much more volume, some of this is inevitable. You want to get this trending in the other direction as opposed to continuing to go up.
Some of the highest pedestrian crash areas are UW's campus area around North Park Street and University Avenue, Highway 151 near the intersection with West Washington, among others on Madison's east side. For now, reporting in Wanakee, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. The Safety Commission says most pedestrian crashes happen between 2 and 7 p.m.
And now to developing news. The president is mobilizing hundreds of Marines to respond to protests in Los Angeles. That's in addition to the National Guard troops he deployed over the weekend. The video here shows clashes between law enforcement and protesters from the weekend after ICE agents conducted raids. The situation is significantly calmer today.
California officials say the state will sue the Trump administration. Governor Gavin Newsom said the president illegally acted to federalize the National Guard and that it added fuel to the fire. Although the president's border czar says there has been no discussion about arresting Governor Newsom. This is what the president said when asked about that possibility.
Gavin Newsom he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
California's Attorney General is also weighing in on the deployment, saying law enforcement in LA is capable of handling the protests and resources should be depleted before the National Guard is called in.
Back in Wisconsin, the Department of Workforce Development will distribute $10 million across the state in an effort to bolster the workforce. 10 regional workforce development organizations will receive the grants, and that includes the Southwest Wisconsin, which will get nearly $700,000. The grants come from the Worker Advancement Initiative, launched back in 2021 with federal relief funds. The governor's office says the latest round of funding will help more than 1,400 Wisconsinites find or improve their employment.
The Green Bay Packers are releasing cornerback Jair Alexander. The Packers drafted Alexander in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft, and he's been a solid presence in the secondary ever since. He was a Pro Bowler in 2020 and 2022, with the latter season being the best of his career thus far. Alexander has dealt with injuries throughout his career. However, he's been limited to a combined 14 games over the last 2 years because of injuries. That's something that our Packers senior writer thinks contributed to his departure.
The fact of the matter is that I'm sure it rubbed him the wrong way, that there were folks inside the building questioning whether he could have been playing through his knee injury.
We do have a statement from the Packers about Alexander's departure. It reads in part, quote, "In his seven seasons with the Packers, Jair established himself as one of the premier players in the NFL at one of the game's most challenging positions. We appreciate all he gave and we wish him all the best moving forward." Still to come on Live at 4, what scientists with the NIH have to say about the Trump administration's policies.
And later, Josh Spreiter previews the Madison Reading Project event to support childhood literacy. A new round of trade negotiations between the U.S. and China is underway in London. This follows the president's call with Chinese leader Xi Jinping last week. Currently, U.S. duties on Chinese imports are at 30% instead of 145%. China's rate is down to 10% from 125%. Now, both sides accuse the other of violating the agreement they came to last month. And as the world's two largest economies begin talks on that trade, U.S. stocks drifted closer to their record. The Dow dropped just 1 point. The Nasdaq is up 61 and the S&P 500 is up 6 points.
Today, the president's travel ban is officially in effect. The ban applies to 12 countries, mostly in Africa and the Middle East. The president cited security concerns when he made the decision last week, saying that it's hard for the U.S. to vet visitors from those countries. In addition to the ban, the president restricted travel on 7 other countries. The ban does not apply to permanent residents of the U.S. or travelers with existing visas. Groups that provide help to refugees have denounced the move.
Well, scores of scientists at the National Institutes of Health are breaking with the Trump administration. In a letter to the Trump-appointed head of the NIH, scientists went public in the face of what they described as a, quote, culture of fear and suppression. Among their concerns, scientists listed the politicization and censorship of research that addresses climate change, gender, and sexual health in COVID. The head of the NIH responded, saying that this letter has some fundamental misconceptions about the policy directions the NIH has taken in recent months.
Overnight, Israeli forces seized a ship of activists who were trying to deliver aid to Gaza. A dozen people were on board, including climate activist Greta Thunberg. They're calling themselves the Freedom Flotilla. Their mission to deliver a symbolic amount of aid to Gaza and bring attention to Israel's blockade. The Freedom Flotilla live streamed both their journey and its end. Right now, the activists are in Israel, but the country says it will send them back to their home countries.
Now take a looking at our first warm weather. We've got Jacob Montesano. An interesting day, lots of little sprinkles, and hopefully we have some warm in the forecast.
Well, a little cooler too. It was nice to turn the AC off today.
Yeah,
Let the dogs and cats get the fresh air.
Yeah, it definitely felt a little bit more like April than June, but we are going to see those June-like temperatures return very quickly with 80s by Wednesday, and then a chance of storms for Thursday and Friday. The storm chance will actually begin late in the day Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday will likely see a little bit more rainfall. And then fast forwarding towards Father's Day weekend, we are expecting high temperatures to be in the 70s, and outside of the 80s on Wednesday, a lot of the next 10 days will feature highs somewhere in the 70s. Now, first, I do want to start with the air quality. Good right now, but there is still some moderate air quality in southwestern Wisconsin. And although it's good right now, we are expected to see a little bit more wildfire smoke kind of move back into the area over the next couple of days. So taking a look at the current wildfire smoke, you can see there's kind of a hole of not as much smoke in our area. But looking off to the west, you can see some of that thicker smoke. It is expected to move back into the area overnight and into Tuesday. But at this point in time, it looks like by Tuesday evening and night, we'll see a lot of that initial smoke move out of the area, but we still could see some more smoke move back into the area as a lot of those wildfires are continuously ongoing. Now, looking at the rainfall forecast, we are still seeing those light showers up in the northern portion of our area. And although those may continue for the next couple of hours, they're going to continue to be very, very light, and a lot of the area will remain dry. Now, fast forwarding towards Wednesday, where we will start to see some of those storms develop for our next round of rain, we actually do have a chance of severe weather. Marginal risk right now, and this is mostly going to be pretty late in the day. A lot of Wednesday will be dry. So let's take a look at the timing of all this. So most of Wednesday, like I mentioned, going to be dry. We'll see some clouds in the evening, and then by the time we get to around sunset and the few hours after, that's when we'll start to move into the area. And we're going to continue to see this rainfall throughout much of the day on Thursday and Friday as well. But it looks like Thursday and Friday, we're going to see more shower activity versus thunderstorm activity, so there's not quite as much of a severe weather risk. But we are going to see this rain just kind of linger across our area into Friday, and we may even see some light showers Saturday morning as well, but it looks like by Saturday afternoon we'll be fairly dry at that point. So we definitely are going to see a good amount of rainfall during that time frame. But it looks like for Father's Day weekend, although there's still a chance of rain, we're not going to see quite as much, as those high temperatures are comfortably going to be in the 70s.
Oh, yeah, the weekend looks good. All right, thank you, Jacob. In the 608, the Madison Reading Project is gearing up for a big event this week.
Josh Spreiter is at their book center with how this supports local literacy.
Madison Reading Project is gearing up for the 8th Ready to Wear this coming Wednesday, and tickets are still available. So this is your opportunity to really support an amazing nonprofit right here in our community. Rowan Childs is joining us today. Rowan, so good to see you.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about Ready to Wear. This has been an event that has grown over the years, and you guys are excited to see what happens this week.
Absolutely. It's one of our biggest one-day fundraisers, and it's also one of the most fun fundraisers we think of the summer. It's a fashion show. It's a community event. And it also helps us raise funds for providing our free services for the entire summer and into the school year.
So you mentioned this is a fashion show. We have one of the design teams here. We have Sam and Becky joining us. Sam, I want to start with you. Where did the inspiration for you guys come this year?
Well, this year we are inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale, Thumbelina. So our team name is Thumbelina Dreamin', and we were sponsored by Hilldale Mall, which supplied all of the normally recycled materials that you see here today.
And I would imagine there's just a little bit of work that goes into something like this.
Just a hint. Yes, a lot of work goes into it, and a lot of trial and error, really, at the end of the day, because we come up with really great ideas, and you try to put it all together, and it might not work the way you think it's going to. And so that's the fun part of, working with paper and trying to get it to day on a human body that is not square in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I would imagine that is not easy. So, like, Sam, you are an author yourself. So, obviously, this is kind of full circle for you and in knowing the importance for reading for children.
Yeah, absolutely. I connected with Rowan last year when my book came out, and she was super supportive of how we could help spread the word and get books into other kids' hands. And so we thought this would be a really great way to introduce the book and also support reading. So last year we were sponsored by the Cap Times and did an albatross made of newspaper. And this year we're taking it in a different direction with a different book.
Well, and I would imagine it has to be fascinating to see just how the teams come up with all these different ideas.
Yeah, last year I definitely got hooked, knowing that we would come back this year also. Just watching all of the creativity and all of the crazy things that people come up with. And it was so entertaining to watch each piece and talk to the people that made it and say, like, how did you do that? Who would have thought of that? And just like the great ideas that I came away with was amazing. So it was really inspiring. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good luck to you too. And if you're interested, tickets are still available. So, Rowan, what do people need to know?
Yeah, if you go to our website, tickets are obviously still available. It's Wednesday night, and the doors open at 6, so you want to get there right away. There's an hour of pre-fun things to do before the curtains open at 7.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for having us in here. And if you'd like to learn more, we have all the details you need to know up on channel3000.com. In Madison, I'm Josh Brighter, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Josh. A great event. Now, this is also your reminder to vote in Madison Magazine's Best of Madison competition. Voting is open now through the end of the month. Now, unlike the first round of voting, you will only be able to vote once per category. You don't have to live in Madison proper to participate. Voting is open to anyone in Dane County and cities in nearby counties like Columbia, Dodge, and Rock. You can vote now at the link on your screen. And coming up next, Ballerina and the Phoenician Scheme hit theaters this weekend.
I'm not sure how to say it. Phoenician, I think it is.
I made that up.
No, I wasn't sure either. Will Loper previews both movies when Live at 4 returns. Today would be a good day to catch a movie, don't you think?
It would have been perfect.
Yep. Summertime is blockbuster time at the box office.
And 2 new movies hit theaters over the weekend. Are they worth checking out? Here's film critic Will Loper's review.
Lilo and Stitch stayed on top of the box office for its 3rd weekend in a row, while the newest film in theaters, the John Wick spin-off Ballerina, came in second with a slightly disappointing $25 million. But is the movie worth seeing?
Welcome to the Continental.
Eve Macaro of the Roscaroma.
Ana de Armas plays Eve, who trains as a ballerina and assassin, looking for revenge on those who killed her father.
This isn't done until they're dead.
Fate is a very humbling thing.
The action is top-notch, which is expected from a John Wick film, and it gets increasingly over the top as the film goes on. Although it's not as good as the 4 previous John Wick films, there's still plenty to enjoy for action fans. Ballerina is worth seeing. Also new in theaters is the latest film from writer-director Wes Anderson, The Phoenician Scheme.
I've appointed you sole heir to my estate, which you may come into sooner rather than later.
Benicio del Toro plays a wealthy businessman, evading constant assassination attempts as he attempts to gain funding for his latest project, bringing his daughter along for the journey.
Today, tonight, and tomorrow, we'll rendezvous with every Titan and pretend we agree what we already agreed.
The writing is sharp and fast-paced, almost too fast to get every joke and plot point. But the film is as Wes Anderson as it gets.
Is this supposed to be here? It was under the lunch trolley.
Oh dear.
Witty dialogue, inventive camera movements, and a multitude of celebrity appearances, including Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, and Bill Murray, all make The Phoenician Scheme a delight to watch and absolutely worth seeing in theaters now. For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
And now that we can pronounce it, we'll have to go see it.
Yes, The Phoenician Scheme.
Coming up on Live at 4, how a teacher who died in the ALCS tragedy is being honored this week.
And more on a new study on kids' screen time and bad behavior. We'll be right back.
3 Now, Live at 4, moving forward.
Let's take a look outside. Ooh, it's a little nippy today to be on the kayak.
I am shocked when we heard we had video of a kayaker, but hey, we're tough in Wisconsin.
That's right, and summer is so short you have to seize the day. But there's good news. The weather is warming back up, and Jacob is here with an update on the forecast. Good to see the sunshine out there, Jacob.
Yeah, just compared to 30 minutes ago, there is like a lot of blue skies, and about 30 minutes ago we had pretty much complete cloud cover. So, the cloud cover and sunshine have been, going back and forth quite a bit and very fastly over the last couple of hours. Now, look at the current temperatures, still definitely below normal, but out here it is very comfortable. Middle 60s right now, a few upper 50s still, but for the most part, although it definitely doesn't feel like June, it certainly feels pretty nice. Now, these are basically the high temperatures of the day, and the average high is supposed to be in the upper 70s, and we'll get very close to that for tomorrow. Now, looking at the current radar, we're still seeing some of those light showers, mainly north of Madison, and this has been the case throughout the entire day. We may continue to see a few light showers during the evening, but for the most part, a lot of the area should be dry. Most of the rain, once again, going to stay to the north of Madison and places south, should be completely dry for the rest of the evening and overnight, as temperatures remain in the 60s until about 9 to 10 p.m. Then they'll drop into the 50s, dropping all the way into the lower 50s by the time we get to Tuesday morning. But once we get to Tuesday afternoon, again, it'll feel a lot more like June. So I'll talk more about that and track our next chance of rain coming up a little bit later.
All right, thank you, Jacob. In news now, Madison police and fire are investigating a fire they believe someone intentionally set over the weekend. Crews responded to Dryden Drive on Saturday just after 9 o'clock at night for a fence that was on fire. They were able to put out that fire and found multiple points of ignition over a large area outside. Well, people in Monona should beware of a new scam. The city says emails are going out requesting wire payments for a City of Monona permit. Now, the city says it would never request or accept permit fee payments via bank wire transfer. So if you get an email like this, please let the police know.
A woman is recovering this afternoon after driving into a retention pond off the Beltline this weekend. The Madison Fire Department tells News 3 Now that Sunday morning a white car drove into the pond at Highway 12 westbound at the westbound off-ramp at South Park Street. The driver had a medical event, left the road, hit another car, and ended up in the pond. Madison police say a bystander and crews entered the water to rescue the only person in the car who could not swim. The woman's injuries are minor, and first responders took her to the hospital.
The National Memorial to Fallen Educators will honor the teacher who was killed in the Abundant Life Christian School shooting. This memorial will be rededicated to honor 9 more educators who lost their lives in service to their students, including Aaron West. On December 16th, the 42-year-old was teaching when a student opened fire, killing West, another student, and ultimately herself. In addition to the deaths, 6 students were injured. 1 remains in the hospital in critical condition. Meanwhile, the shooter's father is facing charges for contributing to his daughter's delinquency and intent to sell a dangerous weapon to someone under 18. The memorial that will honor West was established back in 2013 and was inspired by the Sandy Hook shooting. The rededication ceremony takes place next Friday, June 20th at the memorial in Emporia, Kansas.
Today marks the 17-year anniversary of the catastrophe in Lake Delton when heavy floodwaters drained the lake into the Wisconsin River. About 600 million gallons of water pushed through a strip of Highway A, surging into the river, taking with it portions of the lakeshore, the highway, and 5 homes. In a matter of hours, a lake that was home for some and an industry for others was gone.
We were concerned about flooding, and they said that that would never happen. It's never happened, and that we have control on both ends of the lake.
It looked like a giant water slide, but it was just coming through so fast around that bend. It was just amazing.
Can't believe it's been 17 years. Later on News 3 Now, our Armand Rahman talks to a resident affected by the disaster and how it impacted him 17 years later.
Well, summer is here, and some parents may be asking whether their teenager should get a job over break. Well, it turns out there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Grace Bastidas, editor-in-chief of Parents, says the benefits can be obvious. Young people learn life skills and financial literacy and get a confidence boost, but there are are other factors to consider, she says, like potential fatigue after the school year ends, having different opportunities, and weighing a child's readiness to have that responsibility.
Really, you want to instill these values in them by letting them figure it out. You can help them get organized, you can brainstorm, but let them figure out what they'd like to do, how they like to do it, if a job's right for them or not.
She recommends parents help by using their own network to find open jobs and then even practice mock interviews with their children. According to Pew Research, more than a third of 16 to 19-year-olds get jobs over the summer.
Children who spend too much time staring at screens appear to have more behavioral issues. A report out today from the Psychological Bulletin Journal says the longer a child has their eyes glued to a device, the greater the chance they will develop things like anxiety, depression, and even aggression. Doctors recommend kids under 2 don't have any screen time, and kids 2 to 5 be limited to an hour a day. Any older kids should have their screen time capped at 2 hours.
Well, it turns out skincare routines promoted to teenagers out on TikTok right now could be harmful. A Northwestern University study found girls ages 7 to 18 are using an average of 6 different products on their faces and spending about $168 a month. The top viewed products marketed to teens by some TikTok influencers have an average of 11 ingredients that could cause skin irritation.
Coming up on Live at 4, summer fun doesn't have to be too expensive.
UW's distinguished psychologist, Shyla Bergen, stops by with us, to talk about things your family can do that won't break the bank. Well, trying to have summer fun with the family is easier said than done when you're on a budget.
It is expensive out there.
Oh, yeah.
How about it? The food, gas, all of it. But there are some very creative things you can do with your kids that cost nothing or barely anything at all. UW Health distinguished psychologist Shyla Bergen is here with some suggestions. Hi, Shyla. Welcome back.
Happy summer.
Happy summer
right.
to
Thanks
you
for coming.
too. And you have a little one, so you're walking the walk. You know of what you speak here. And you do have some great ideas, because it is pressure when you talk to your friends and say, what are you doing this summer? And we're going to Europe, or we're, you know what I mean?
Or kids in camps. That is too expensive for so many people.
It's all very expensive, but you've come up with some really great ideas, and you start at the library.
Yeah, I really encourage families to create a summer bucket list. Maybe it's around themes or places you want to go to. And I want to encourage people to check out our local libraries, because they are free. Your child can have a card that they use to check out their own books. So there's usually a play area. And then our local libraries have events like story time or youth yoga or even free music. So it's a great resource.
It is a great resource.
And you were talking also about a garden, which I love to hear. I have so many young children, mine are grown, but so many young children in the neighborhood. And I know one of my neighbors is doing just that with her 4-year-old.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost very much, and so many lessons around tending to the earth, nurturing something to watch it grow, having them plant the seeds, water it, maybe put some fertilizer. And you could even think about doing a garden that then you harvest the fruit and vegetables for your dinner table or lunch. And yeah, kids have so much fun with it.
And in a neighborhood like yours with all the little giddy-gats, you could almost do a community garden, you know what I mean, and have all the kids do it together. You suggest visiting one of the state parks.
Yeah, I just did that this weekend.
Did
we
you?
went camping and right near Lake Michigan. So our state or local parks, again, don't cost much money. Get kids outside in nature instead of behind screens. And go for a hike, go for a swim, do some birding. Our state parks even have little guidebooks that kids can have, and if they check off a certain number of little activities,
I love it.
they get a badge. So, and that is free too.
And you're brave. You went camping with a 3-year-old?
I did. It was adventurous for sure.
And you talked about healthy habits, but being outdoors in general, just being outside is fantastic.
Because
and then
the screen time is such a challenge.
Yeah, go for a family bike ride, go to a local pool, even go for a little adventure walk. And as a whole family, you can really commit to that value of being active.
That's a good idea. You also say it's good to figure out, do something that is your child's passion.
Yeah.
Explain what you mean about that.
Yeah, really follow your kids' lead of what are they interested in, and then maybe you watch some YouTube videos, or you check out some books, or you invest a little little bit of money so they can really delve into it to become an expert at the end of the summer in that area.
Ooh, I love that.
They had you at YouTube. We're trying to get rid of the screens.
Exactly, maybe a little bit of YouTube.
she had me at YouTube as well.
Yeah. What are you going to be doing this summer? You're going to be doing all of these things with your little girl?
Well, we have her home this summer, and we have a 13-week curriculum. So last week was Things That Go. We did books, crafts, and outings. This week is space. Next week is water. I'm excited to check out some of those splash pads, and also planning for a rainy day with things like board games that you can do, and I think that's really important. So plan ahead, maybe have some themes, follow your kids' lead.
I love that.
I do
the
too.
most thing they want is your presence, to be present with them.
Yeah, that's the most important
thing. It doesn't take much, exactly.
I think the last day of school is tomorrow, right? For most of the schools in the area, so this is perfectly timed.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great summer.
Oh, you too.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Well, coming up, Jacob Montesano has your first warn forecast.
When we could see that smoke and haze again, it feels good now. It looks like it's all moved out of the area. We'll have the details on that when Live at 4 returns. We'll be right. It's a great day to take the dog for a walk today. It's a little on the cooler side. Sometimes that's really nice, Jacob, but it won't stay that way long.
No, it's definitely going to warm up, and we are in the time of the year where even below average temperatures are comfortable. In fact, we're kind of in the time of the year where you almost want it to be below normal. Not quite there yet, but once we get to July, below normal days will be a treat here in Wisconsin. Now, we are going to see those 80s return, though, on Wednesday with some storms, especially for Thursday and Friday. We'll see that's the best chance to see the rainfall, but the storms may begin late in the day Wednesday, kind of just after sunset. Now, looking forward to Father's Day, we are going to see those high temperatures in the 70s, and really outside of Wednesday, a lot of the next 10 days will have high temperatures in the 70s rather than the 80s. Now, we're still seeing some light showers north of Madison. These may continue for the evening, but not going to see much. Madison and surrounding areas should be dry. Overall, pretty quiet evening and a very quiet night is expected. But fast forward to Wednesday, and those storms, like I mentioned, they're going to be later in the day, but they actually could produce some severe weather. Right now, there's a marginal risk for Madison and areas to the south. Thankfully, it is going to be so late in the day and likely well after anyone, has already gotten home from work. But looking at the forecast, we'll start to see them move in again right around sunset. Around 8 to 10 is when we could start to see it. But once we get to the later overnight hours, we're going to see much more widespread showers and thunderstorms. And for Thursday and Friday, it looks like we'll see more in the sense of showers versus thunderstorms. The temperatures will be cooler Thursday and Friday, but that rain is expected to linger across our area for Thursday and Friday. It's likely not going to rain the entire time, but we could be seeing at least showers and a few storms in the vicinity of our area from late Wednesday evening, possibly all the way through Friday night. Maybe even Saturday morning we could see some lingering showers. So although we are going to see a good amount of rain potentially during that time frame, it does look like, although we still could see some light showers, it will dry up for the weekend, at least compared to what we're going to see Thursday and Friday. So overall, it is going to be a very kind of June-like forecast going forward, despite the fact that today has not been very June-like. We're going to see high temperatures not too far off from the normal, which is in the upper 70s this time of the year. And this also is the rainiest time of the year, and we have plenty of rainfall this week. But it does look like, at least for Father's Day, again, although we could still see some light rain, it's not going to be as much as what we will see for Thursday and Friday.
Are open for the 6th annual Roofing a Vet campaign.
The community-driven initiative gives a deserving veteran a free brand new roof. Nominations are open to all area veterans and active duty service members who are homeowners or who are financing a home. Family members, neighbors, friends, or veterans themselves can submit nominations. You can email your information to info@heimscontracting.com to submit a nomination. We'll get that on Channel 3000 as well. The deadline to do it is July 31st. You can find the email and other links to nominate someone on channel3000.com.
And now Jacob Montesano joins us with a look at the forecast. And I can tell you today it was raining for 1 hour and then it was beautiful for the next and on and off. So
not even within the hour. At the start of the show, it was completely cloudy, and I go out at 4:30 and there was almost no clouds in the sky. It seemed like it just cleared up very quickly. We are going to see those temperatures warm up, though. 70s tomorrow, 80s Wednesday. Then we are going to see a good chance of rain starting very late in the day Wednesday, and then possibly continuing all the way through Friday night. does look pretty good right now for Father's Day, though.
Yeah, that's good timing.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Live at 4. It's Tuesday, and that means Dr. Jeff Potoff will be here for his weekly visit. We'll be talking about how the effects of calorie counting can affect your mental health. And straight ahead tonight at 5, Jalen Banks looks into an increase in crashes involving pedestrians. Thanks for joining us today for Live at 4. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. A reminder, you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.